What do you get when a legless lad and a blind bloke walk into a bar? A couple of mates on a mission to challenge what it means to be tough.
Righto, welcome back to Talkin Tough, a podcast on a mission to redefine what it means to be tough. Proudly brought to you by Ski for Life, an incredible South Australian charity focused on promoting mental health, wellbeing and suicide prevention. Legless, my fella, my brother, how are you?
I'm pretty good, thanks, Ben. Even better to be sitting next to you. We're recording out of the beautiful Barossa Valley, and we have a ripper of a guest today for our audience, and hopefully unpacking some cool stuff, but also some funny stuff too, because he's a bloody funny fella.
Don't tell him that. He's also a 6-time premiership player from the Riverland, from the Tanunda Magpies, one of our best mates, who is someone that I think we've just connected with so well. Met him doing what we do on the road. If I keep talking about him, I'll probably give him a big head. Thank God I've never been able to see it, but he's told me it's good looking.
Were you, honestly, I think this. I don't know where I got this information from, but were you or are you the silkiest left foot kick ever to come out of South Australia? And keep in mind that there may be some, maybe a few footballers from South Australia that might be able to sort of like fact check this stuff. So what do you think, Matt?
No, I'd be close.
All right, we've got Matty Underwood here, hailing from the Barossa Valley, sitting here in his living room by his fireplace, having a red wine. Mate, welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for getting me involved and having me here today in my own house.
Well, no, thank you for having us in your own house and letting us set up all this shit to have a yarn and, just catch up as three mates, which we're looking forward to.
We have on our podcast, Matt, we interview a whole range of different people.
Have you listened to our podcast?
You've been one that we've had pegged for a while. No celebrity policy, so that's definitely something that we've gone against the grain with this interview because of your notoriety in the Barossa. But at the same time, I think one of the things that attracted us about not only good bloke, good mates and stuff like that, that's all on the table, but also the fact that you're a really wonderful family man, big member of the community, you contribute a lot in that sense, but you also see everything as well within the community, and then you get involved obviously in Ski for Life to hopefully curb some of those numbers that we all know too well.
Yeah, mate, absolutely.
We'd love to start, as we always do, just by taking you back to growing up as a young fella. Yeah. What did tough mean to you? When you think about tough growing up, what first pops into your mind?
Oh, mate, I think growing up as a young fella in South Australia, and especially probably in a country town, footy's always big. It's probably one of those things that you think about, those tough players when you were growing up. The local legend was Mark Rue, and watching him on TV, running through guys and just in general, watching guys running back in the back of the pack and all that kind of stuff, like you thought, that's tough. That's tough. But there was that. There was also, I think, we grew up in a pretty big sporting family, or Dad loved watching any form of sport and all that kind of stuff. So I think I always thought, boxing, man, I'd never do something like that. That's tough as. No way. I'm not getting hit. So anything like that, I reckon, that's probably what I,
So physical toughness was a big thing.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's more physical than anything to do with mental.
Yeah. And what was there a difference for you between, like you say, you look at boxers and go, that's tough. I don't want to enter into that. Was the same for you true for footy? Like, are you watching blokes get crunched in packs and go, oh, that's not me? Or was there sort of a line that you go, I want to be that tough, but I don't want to be that tough getting in a boxing ring?
Yeah, no, I think definitely, mate. I think definitely. I've had a couple things happen to me when I was younger that, probably formed a little bit of my headspace as well, that, I probably shouldn't go into certain situations. And so, playing any form of sport or doing anything like that, there was always something in the back of the mind that, you thought, oh, hang on, I better not do that.
Yeah.
Or,
Think twice.
You think twice, and we'll probably, I have no doubt we'll touch on that further.
Hey, let's go there. Let's do it.
You want to do it straight up?
Yeah, mate. Tell us
It's
about.
going to get
Deep
deep.
dive straight in.
Nah,
mate.
tell us about
Absolutely.
growing up as Matty Underwood in the Underwood family. Where'd you grow up? Brothers, sisters, mum, dad?
Nah, well, I got I got one brother, Craig, older brother by a couple of years, and then just mum and dad.
Yep.
So we did a fair bit of travel when we were young. Dad was in the bank, so it was him climbing the ladder, moving a lot around South Australia. So those early years, we did a lot of traveling and going to new places. So you very quickly learn how to make friends pretty easily and all that kind of stuff. We ended up in a town on the river called Waikerie, and that's where I think I would move there when we were about 9 or when I was 9 or 10, and that's where we call home, essentially. Even though we moved around a lot, our home ended up being, and where I'd say I come from, is Waikerie.
Yeah, Waikeries home from the heart of the Riverland. And you touched on before, mate, that when you ended up playing footy, there was always something in the back of your mind sort of causing that little bit of hesitation or had that added element of risk to it. Do you want to sort of run us through how that all came about?
Yeah,
what was beyond
absolutely.
that?
So, when I was born, I had something wrong with my heart, and I had an operation called a coarctation. So that's when they basically open heart surgery wasn't around when I was born. They go in through the back, so they do an operation. I can't quite remember all the details.
How old were you?
I think I was 6 months.
6 months old.
Yeah, so I think, and that was Mum's intuition, actually. So shout out to Jen. She did a pretty good job of keeping me here. I was born in Loxton, went down to Adelaide because I think, I don't know the timings, but a month, 2 months later, Mum just didn't feel like my colour was right and didn't have circulation or, enough circulation and all that kind of stuff. So tests down in Adelaide and back and forth and all that kind of stuff, they come up with the fact that I had, this problem with my aorta valve, which so I had that operation. So that was at 6 months old, and everything was good. I, didn't think anything of it until, in between this time, moving around, I remember going and saying, Mum, one day I walked into the kitchen at our house in Keith, and I said to Mum, I reckon I can't see right. I can't see out of one eye. I close one eye and I can't see out of it. And Mum just fobbed me off and said, nah, don't be so stupid. What are you talking about? And I don't know how long after that, but maybe it was a few months, I went back and said, Mum, I can't see out of my eye. Like, I'm really struggling. It's really blurry. She took me seriously. And then it turned out that, obviously, down to Adelaide, another trip down to Adelaide, and found out that I had 10% vision and I had a disease in my eye from birth. So,
and how old are you at this point? Like
5?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, 5 years old. So it never got picked up early. So that was, that's obviously something that then contributes to the fact of the hesitation and the willing to put yourself into situations where,
Dangerous.
You can risk
Physical
losing an eye or
damage.
whatever it was. Realistically, should have I been playing football? No, probably not. But as a young fella.
Do you have any long-term effects from the heart?
Yeah, so then basically taking you back, so that's kind of happened as well. We live in Waikerie. I can't quite remember how it all came about, but if I went in for a general checkup, and I was about 12, must have been 12, 11 or 12, must have been 12, and the doctor there, so just the GP, he said, look, I just don't think something's right with your heart. I think there's more to it. And once again, got taken down, and really it was only a couple of weeks later I was in the operating theatre in the Women's and Children's at the time, and having open heart surgery because my valve was, I don't know, starting to fail, I guess.
Yep.
And I was losing too much blood. So that was just a chance encounter, going to the GP and him having enough nous to go, it's not quite right.
Good doctor.
Good doctor.
Absolutely.
So,
So major surgery at 12 years old.
yep.
You've also got no vision in one eye, or can you see
10%?
anything? So
I think
10% vision.
I'm about 7.
Okay. Yep.
7% vision, which
And obviously,
Between the two of us, mate, we got one good eye.
that's right.
we laugh about that a lot.
And 4 legs.
And we managed to
between
do it
the three of
Bagola.
us.
Yeah, we do it at Pagola with one eye. Although we don't
That's not bad going, is it?
We don't know if it's straight. We don't know if it's plumb, but we did it right, I think.
Hey, mate, we did it all right.
And off the back of so major heart surgery, and then obviously that flows into, I'd imagine there'd be some warnings around contact sport and the like.
Yeah, definitely.
And what, you just jump straight back in and get on with it?
No, I didn't, honestly. Through those probably formative years of those early years after that heart operation, it was definitely a should I, shouldn't I?
Yep. But you would have seen all your mates starting to play, your brother as well. And
living in a country town, you go, what am I going to do? You know.
Did that sort of mean because you were hesitating, you ended up on the outer a bit?
No.
Not hesitating, but was there a year or two that you didn't play?
No, because I had the operation in September.
Yeah, okay. And by the time the next footy season came around,
That's exactly
you were right to go.
So I had done my recovery and all that kind of stuff, and look, yeah, the doctor, you know, they kind of err on the side of a caution and are very much, you know, you probably
conservative.
shouldn't do that. You know, it's up to you, you know. But like I said, being young, same kind of thing with my eye, I guess, because I grew up with my eye and not having, I didn't think anything different. Whereas that was a moment where obviously you start to make that decision. But then I went down the path of going, all right, I'm going to keep on playing, and I'll forget about the fact that I've got a heart condition, and it'll be what it'll be because I want to live my life.
Yep.
And that is what it is. And yeah, I guess probably those, you know, leading into later in life, I think I look back on things and think to myself that those the things that I did back then, you know, culminate into who I am now, and obviously I guess the pressure and making those decisions early on was compounded my problems that I've had in later years.
Subsequently, yeah.
So
because I look at you, Matty, we spent a bit of time together, obviously great mates. You're a very physically fit man as well, like you're a big fella, so it's not slowed you down from a developmental perspective. You obviously were able to get on. Whatever the surgeon did, the surgeon did a pretty good job. One thing I always notice about you is,
I like how he's putting down your physical presence to the good surgeon, not all the work you put in maintaining it.
Didn't say anything like that, mate. You guys are drawing conclusions here. But I always think about you know, those formative things that happen early in your life. They obviously shape who you are and how you actually cope and adapt to things. And when I think about people that are really unflappable in life, I think about a few people. I've got a mate, Sean, who's an amputee, but he's really calm all the time. I don't think you could, you know, you just totally can't shake him. Benny's someone that comes to mind. He's really seems to have his shit together all the time, and probably, I don't know, under the surface, probably a different story for everybody. But you're someone that comes to mind. Like, it's not like, always seems like not much rattles you, so you take things in your stride, and you're probably the example of someone. So where does that come from? Is it from those experiences, or is that part of just Matt Underwood and who you were always?
That's a really good question, mate.
Can I have an easier question?
No, it's a good question because I've actually honestly, you know, I know the kids would probably say something different. You know? They'd probably go, man, Dad blows his lid all the time. What are you talking about? And no doubt Scott would have a different opinion as well. But no, I was always, pretty easygoing. Like Dad was always pretty easygoing. But I also think that it's probably that portraying of calmness. But then there are definitely moments of
Yeah.
paddling like no tomorrow under the water without anyone saying it. But I guess in general, I look at things and go, well, my work and all that kind of stuff is very much so, well, if you stuff something up, what do you got to do? You got to pull it down. You got to redo it.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. You don't mean to make mistakes in life. And, no one goes out of their way to do something wrong, to stuff something up or anything like that. So you can sit there and whinge about it, or
take a pragmatic view.
You just go, well, we had it only this week. We had a bit of a blowout on some concrete, on some formwork, and you rock up on site and the guys are there, they're trying their hardest, and obviously something's happened. And you're not going to sit there and blow your lid because it's not going to solve anything. It's not going to make anyone feel any good.
It's not going to lift the concrete up.
So
it's blown out the wall.
What can we learn from it?
What, boys, what are we going to do? All right, let's just pull it down. We'll redo it. We'll redo it quickly. We'll get into it. Yep. Let's do it together.
Yeah.
And it'll be all right. We'll get through it.
It's the old saying of like, there's no point pointing a finger, like, because often that's the go-to, and in your position as like the man in charge, when you do roll up to a site like that, like there may be people there that have had experiences where a boss rolls in and starts blowing their lid and pointing fingers. He goes, well, who did this wrong and who didn't put enough screws in and who didn't do that and who didn't do this? Yeah. But like you said, that's not gonna fix anything. No. It's not gonna change anything. What's done is done.
That's it.
And I suppose it's similar to what we talk about a bit, Mike, with the control stuff. Yeah. And it sounds like you're pretty good at going, if I can't control it, I'm going to put it in the it is what it is category.
Yeah.
Like, let's just focus on what we can control now, and that is fixing it.
Yeah, I think Matt's probably the epitome of that sort of thing. It's like, you're not going to sweat the small stuff. But you mentioned about, like, there's a lot going on paddling under the surface and that sort of stuff. So there's obviously a lot of stress that goes with running your own business, being, starting it from scratch, building a big workforce, managing people, managing issues, just like you said there. So talk to us about what role stress plays in your life and sort of the impact that it has on you personally.
Yeah, so I was if I take it back and go look through those high school years and growing up and all that kind of stuff, I was never a stressful person. Like I very much school was something that I went to, and I was fortunate that I was smart enough. Did I apply myself? Probably not.
Questionable.
That's exactly right. I cruised through everything, and I just went, I'll just do whatever. That's cool. So then moving into coming out of school, deciding what you're going to do and all that kind of stuff, I tried a couple of things, didn't like it. Found carpentry was something that I really enjoyed, and had a guy that I played footy with, and got an apprenticeship through there. So I was lucky. I'd never done any carpentry, but I was really lucky that I found something that I enjoyed to do. And then from there, you do your apprenticeship and things happen however it happens. And, at the end of that apprenticeship, I've decided that I'm going to go out and be a contractor, straight away. And I think that's, if I took my time again, would I do it? Probably not. I'd probably take a few years. And
as in, you wouldn't go into carpentry?
No,
you wouldn't go straight into running your own show.
Running your own show, all that kind of stuff, because I think the learning and the situations that I put myself in, although they would probably shrug of the shoulder moments going, doesn't matter, that'll be all right. Yeah. It took a toll on me mentally, and I didn't deal with it till later on in life. So then starting the business and starting going out by yourself and all that kind of stuff, like you said, Mike, the stresses of money coming in, or even learning how to run accounting software. And
do an invoice and bloody quote a job and all that stuff that you don't get taught in an apprenticeship.
And keeping track of a diary and all that kind of stuff, keeping track of hours as much as you do it during your apprenticeship. But it means something, because you don't get paid unless you're going to be all over that kind of stuff. And even now, I know that Tony in the office, she would go, Matt, you got to do your timesheets. I sit there and go, man, yeah, no, I'll get there. I'll get there. So,
God, I hate timesheets.
yeah. So there's some big learning experiences from probably my early 20s into my mid 20s where I've made mistakes. Yep. I've lost money. Yep. I would do a lot of things differently if I had my time again, but I went through it and I got through it.
In that moment, not in that moment, in that period of time, I'd love to sort of go into what was happening behind that contracting, which is, like, for me, there's a lot of relatability listening to what you're saying there, mate, because similar in the sense, obviously I didn't go through the apprenticeship and then go into running my own show as a builder, right, or as a chippy, but I ended up getting into the speaking game and setting up my own business as a speaker from before 20 years old. So I think the interesting thing I want to unpack is, for a lot of blokes out there, there's the pressure on being a breadwinner and providing for, whether it be a partner, future family, setting yourself up for what life has sort of to come in the future. And I think for me, when I first set up as a speaker, the first 12 months, it was exciting because there wasn't the overheads of on the stress of setting up and providing a living for me and Amy, right? Because I was single for that first little while until I met Amy, and then the pressure wasn't there, kids weren't there, mortgage wasn't there, so you could just sort of cruise through. And if you made a bit of money, great. And if there was a week that you weren't so busy, that was cool too. But like for you in the background, had you met Sky then?
I probably should have covered that.
No.
Earlier, but
I think it's important because there's so many people that go in when you do start your own show. If you are just a single bloke, the pressure may not be there in comparison. The stress may not be there. If you're just living at home, running your own show, you've got that breathing room to get it set up.
Yeah.
What was the behind the scenes like?
Yeah, no, look, I've been very fortunate in my life to have Sky a part of it for a very long time. So, Eve, going back to late high school and all that kind of stuff. So to find that person that, I get along so well with, my best friend, and also to obviously have her as my wife has been so fortunate.
So high school sweethearts?
Yeah.
Yep.
How old were you when we met?
Oh, don't start with you. Ori, you probably know this story.
While we're asking.
No, I can't.
Refresh our memory, mate.
No.
You were very young though when you met.
We were very young. Yeah,
first
we were
girlfriend, first young. Boyfriend,
that's
and
exactly
then
right.
Married.
Yeah, look, she can. That's a story that she can tell. We met early.
Two versions of events.
But no, we ended up back together in year 12. So essentially, 17-year-olds.
Yep.
Yeah. So when you are going out as a contractor and doing all that, you're together. Were you living together?
Yeah, man. So no, we got married early as well. So I did my apprenticeship. Sky's a teacher, and she finished her degree before me. I finished my apprenticeship. We went travelling for a year. I started subbing, but then we did go travelling for a year. But we then bought, or we decided to settle in Tanunda, which is where we obviously are now. And that was because it was in between Adelaide and Waikerie. We knew that I'd be able to get work in Adelaide with contacts down there. That's where I did my apprenticeship. Also be able to get work in Waikerie. So Tanunda was smack bang in the middle.
Yep.
So having her coming back, she was a teacher, like I said, she got work really easily. So in that sense, the pressure was off because I wasn't just...
You weren't the only breadwinner. Yeah.
That's exactly right. She had a really steady and stable job. So it gave me the opportunity. We didn't have kids or anything like that then. It gave us the opportunity to really have a crack and make the business work, which yeah, you know, if I was looking at things now and looking at people that were kind of, you know, 28, 30 years old, getting married, having kids and all that kind of stuff, would I start my own business? Like, it would be daunting. It would be hard.
Bloody oath.
You know, and I'm fortunate in that space that we did it early. We didn't have the ties of having kids and having, you know, that necessarily. We had a steady wage with Sky, and that, you know, that's a big platform to build off, essentially. So, and I can see, you know, nothing really changes, even though the business gets bigger, and you know, we are at where we are at now. The pressures are just different. You know, like you guys, I think everyone worries about work.
Big part of your life.
Big part of your life. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So to have to know that you've got work in the pipeline does take that mental load off, and but it's not easy. You know?
No.
So we talk about you know, obviously challenges. You've given us a really great insight into the road up to now. You got kids, 3 wonderful kids.
Yeah, little cherubs.
And you you build your life not just around your business, but you're heavily involved in the community. Tell us a little bit about your life in Tanunda.
Yeah, so so as I said, we settled down here and really got stuck into playing sport in the community and all that kind of stuff. And you know, in regional communities, that kind of getting involved in sport is something that just, you know, you immediately feel part of the community. You meet a lot of people and all that kind of stuff, and that was no different. A massive part of the beginning of creating a family and having a spot that we now call home. You know, so yeah, the whole community environment, what particularly footy, you know, that's all I ended up really playing. But footy, the network that provides you is so vast, and especially within a community like the Barossa, that is very close knit. Even though you're separate towns and you're playing against each other, you get to know everyone.
Sure,
they're all mates, and it was a really good space to be in. You know,
Were you welcomed with open arms? Because from the outside looking in, sometimes, and we're speaking a lot of footy clubs, there's sometimes the perception when you do a footy club session or something like that, where some people go, like, they are such a tight knit community because you had come from Waker in the Riverland and now you're in chosen Tanunda. Did you feel like you had that welcoming experience and yep, you're part of us now?
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, I reckon that it would be very hard if you weren't immersing yourself in that kind of culture where you've got a footy club that embraces, and they've got a couple new players and all that kind of stuff, and like Sky with getting involved with the netball club, we were very fortunate to get accepted really, really quickly, and there was guys in our footy team, like we were all pretty much the same age, so that made a big difference as well. They were all good fellas, and so that assimilation into the community was really, really easy for us. I think the thing that helped was moving around a lot younger when we were young.
You used
that
to
ability to walk into a new place and accept people for who they are, and you have to create relationships from that. You know, I quite often think about our kids and the fact that they'll grow up in Tanunda, or, you know, they'll be in the Barossa Valley. We'd love for them to, once they finish school, move away and experience.
Piss off, kids.
That's exactly right. Not just for getting rid of them, but just that opportunity to go and meet new people and understand what the world, or Australia, or
world's
different
bigger than the
communities and all
Barossa
that
Valley
kind of stuff. Exactly,
Yeah.
because you can get cocooned, and
Sure,
we live in such a nice part of the world with being so close to the city. You could stay, but there's so much more to venture out and have a look at,
and knowing your kids, I've no doubt that they will.
Yeah, and meeting new people, you know, like it's such a crucial thing. I love interacting with people, meeting you guys, for the first time and creating those connections and coming over and seeing you guys over in Vic and you guys coming over here, like that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And
you don't do that unless you expand your horizons.
That's exactly
absolutely.
right.
So you had you got a bung eye, mate.
Yeah, I got a bung eye.
You got a bung heart.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
The old ticker didn't seem to slow you down. You end up going on, what would you say it was, 6 club championships or something?
Six premierships. Six-time premiership player.
Any best and fairest amongst that, mate?
No.
No? Anyone ever asked you for an autograph?
No.
Okay.
Other than us.
Yeah. So, but you've been through, and you've been through all of the ups and downs of starting your own business, holding that pressure, making a decision to go out on your own. It's a little bit of adversity to cope with and stress to cope with. On top of it all, you're an Adelaide Crows supporter, which is even worse. So, tell us a little bit about. We said before about stress. How does Matt Underwood handle stress? And how does it manifest in you? So what sort of like symptoms do you sort of get out of, all of the things that you're juggling in life, like a lot of us are?
Oh, yeah. I suppose, like if you were listening to this and I sit here and think to myself, I haven't lived a tough life by any stretch of the imagination. Like I've had moments that if you look back on, and I think one of the biggest things for me is, you make your decisions in life, and quite often at the time you don't know the consequences of those until later on in life when you have kids, they're older, or you've been, you're in the thick of parenting and they're becoming teenagers and all that kind of stuff. So I guess those stresses build up, right? And I might have lost the trajectory of the question here, Mike, but
no,
I think where I got to was basically the stresses or anxiety started coming out in my sleep. And there was, I guess, life up until, 2011 we had Ryder. He's our eldest. And that was all good, but he didn't sleep, like he had reflux and, we really struggled through that period. Then as you do, you think to yourself, let's have another baby close.
Yeah, the second one can't. The second one will sleep better than the first one,
exactly
sure.
Right. Yeah, no, we know what we're doing.
Was that the case, Quinny?
A little bit better, but, still not great on the spectrum of good sleepers. But so there's these little things that keep on happening in life, right? Where you're getting not much sleep. You're running a business. You've got a wife at home looking after the kid who's also not getting much sleep, and so the balls are up in the air, and you want to keep everyone happy, so you're continually juggling those moments. So all of a sudden, though, 4 years happened really quickly, where you're not relaxing that much. Let's face it. So you're always on. They talk about the fight or flight, and you're fighting a lot because not physically fighting and not fighting with Sky, but you're just fighting with life because it's
doing what needs to be done.
It's constant.
It's constant.
There's no off switch even at night when kids are awake. Like you're thinking, oh sweet, I just need a nice 7 or 8 hours sleep here, and I'll be fresh to go and tackle the fight the next day.
Yeah,
and I know myself at the moment with our youngest, there's some nights there where I might ring you or I'll ring Mike or speak to them the next day. Oh yeah, how you going? I go, well, I reckon I could fall asleep anywhere at the moment because I was awake from 11:30 till 1:30, and then I was asleep for 45 minutes, and then I was awake from 2:30 till 5:30, and then my alarm was going off at 6, so there was no point going back to sleep for another half an hour.
That's right.
And that doesn't refill the tank for another day of the fight.
Hell no. Then do it again.
Yeah, and again, and again, and again. It just compounds, eh?
Yeah, that's it. And so, yeah, that's happening in the background. You go through that, and all the while, you are going pretty well. at the end of the day, you're trying to be the best dad that you want to be.
Yep.
You know, I know going through childhood and all that kind of stuff, and you know, my mum and dad, all they ever wanted to do, they came from not a lot, and they just worked hard. You know, they just worked hard, and Dad worked from 7:30 till 7 o'clock. He'd walk in at 7 o'clock at night, and just Mum would put the tea on the table for all of us, and we'd sit there. You know, for me, like looking back on that, like I didn't want to do that for my kids. So then there's that added pressure of going, I want to make sure I'm present. I want to make sure that, you know, I'm active in their lives and they know who Dad was, because it's something that I missed out on. Not, look, I say missed out.
Were you close with your dad?
I was really close with Dad.
Yeah, you just felt like you didn't get enough time.
That's exactly
with
right,
him.
With him,
man.
yeah.
You feel like you know, work with his work, and he was just trying to provide for the family.
Because it's a balancing act, hey? Like
That's
it's
exactly
such a
right.
balance where, and so many, I was going to say blokes, but there's so many people, especially these days, that are just in this constant juggle of this work-life balance that we all hear about.
Yeah.
And there's more emphasis, like you say, and more pressure to, we were only talking about the other night in the kitchen, going 30, 40 years ago, the stereotypical role of the man of the house was to win the bread, come home, and as your old man did, get fed, and then go and do it again tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas now, it's not just sort of the pressure and the expectation from, say, our wives or society. We also want to, I feel, definitely speaking on behalf of myself, I want to be that present dad. I want to be that husband that helps cook and clean and do all that and take the pressure off my wife as well, which it sounds like you wanted to do that also. But then it's just that balance and that juggle.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, so all of a sudden you're taking on a lot more as well. You know, outside of, you know, you're trying to be a bloody good dad. You're trying to parent really well. You're trying to parent consistently as well, and make sure that you're still getting along with your wife and still keeping up a relationship with your wife, so that you still love each other at the end of going through this craziness that having kids is all about. And then you've got a business going on as well that, you know, you feel like, so I guess all of a sudden, you know, you've got those 4 or 5 things that you're trying to hold and do the best that you can, but you probably feel like 90% of it you're doing half-assed.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not a good feeling, you know, because you can't.
It's probably a period in your life, though. You know, Benny and I got young kids too. Like you know, you realise and you respect how hard it is, but you also love every moment too. It's such a wonderful, beautiful time in so many ways, but it's the most challenging thing you can ever go through too at the same time. And I think sometimes it's probably like, and it's everyone. It's, you know, the women, like wives, do just such an amazing job. Stuff that I shake my head at a lot of the time and probably can't do physically and that sort of thing. But I think sometimes probably don't give ourselves a little bit more credit. And you say something like, you know, you're only doing something like, you know, 90% as well as you possibly could be, or 50% as well as you possibly could be. But that's probably all you can give at that point in time.
Yeah.
So rather than expecting to give what we gave before, you have all these added stresses and everything. Do you think we give ourselves a bit of a hard time through that period?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because it's your expectations, you know, and it's what you're putting on yourself, and you create you create these, I guess, these ideals in your mind. But the fact is, I don't know, what's the ideal?
They change, right? It changes,
exactly right.
Yeah.
Always.
And
From
more than
week to week,
more than
from
one
day to
thing
day.
can be true at once.
That's exactly right.
Like you can be, like you said, Mike, it can be the greatest time in your life. It can also be the hardest time in your life.
Yeah.
You can be putting in as much effort as you possibly can and doing your best, but also feeling like you should be doing so much better.
Yeah.
And all those things can be true at once. And I don't think that's
True.
wrong. I think that's just the truth of it.
Yeah, and I think you know, it seemed to be a bit of a common thread through my life in the sense that, you know, yeah, I've got an excuse of a heart playing footy and all that kind of stuff, but I don't want the excuse. But I felt like I was doing it half-assed. You know, next minute you're parenting, your job, you're being a husband, all that kind of stuff. So basically you're going through this really hard and stressful period of your life, and then you go and have a third child, which is what you do.
Of course you do.
Don't you? You got to add something else in there.
I won't be doing that.
No, good. No.
Love you, Tully, but
yeah, love you, Tal. Sorry,
No.
I just
hey,
have a sip of wine.
you need to do that sometimes.
But no. Then you go, you know, you have a third child, and you know, I'm talking about all this stuff, but you know, I'm building up to a point of saying we had Tully, and then through this period, my dad got diagnosed with cancer, and
On top of everything else.
yeah. So that you know, then he fought that. He fought it for a while through chemo and operation and all that kind of stuff. Come into remission, or you know, whatever remission looks like with cancer, and that was all good.
So thought there was light at the end of the tunnel?
Thought that there was light at the end of the tunnel, and yeah, I'm going to get my timing right here. I reckon, yeah. So Dad, Sky was pregnant with Tully when she was probably a couple of months into her pregnancy when Dad went into remission, and then 3 months after that, the cancer was back and incurable into his stomach, and they couldn't do anything for him. So, throughout all the previous, let's call it 6-7 years, so even 8 years, 9 years of starting the business and running that sort of stuff, Dad, I like grew closer and closer to Dad. You know, our childhood, Dad, you know, probably didn't have heaps to do with us, even though involved with the footy club and all that kind of stuff. But it was really, I become really close with Dad because I leant on him because he was in the bank. He knew finances, knew businesses and all that kind of stuff. So that bond and those phone calls of near on, it would every week and all that kind of stuff. You know, I had a really solid relationship with Dad, and then even like he got along really well with Sky. So it was
Big part of your family.
Huge part of the family.
Yep.
You know?
And then you get some good news in remission. You think you got him, and then bang.
Yep. And then a few months later, it's you know, here's your options. You know, you've got max 6 months left.
And juggling the impending birth of your third.
Yeah, Sky's
on top of everything else.
Sick as she, you know, with their pregnancy. We got 2 little boys, trying to run a business, and that happens. And, you know, I guess you go through those emotions. You know, the last few months, 4 months, Tully was born. It was great. She, you know, Dad got to meet finally a girl in the family, which was fantastic. You know, Tully was a great baby, but we stuffed her around with her sleep and all that kind of stuff because we were making the most.
A lot
trying
going
to get up to Dad, see him as much as we could. He lived in Waikerie still, so you know, on nights, if you know, we'd go up there. On the weekend, we'd go up there. So yeah, that was our opportunity to spend as much time as we could with Dad. So then he passed away in late October 2016. So that was probably little did I know at that point in my life, I was still cruising. I was going, you know what, this is all right. I can cope with this. It's cool. You know, Dad's gone, but, you know, I got some really good times with him. He met the kids.
Yeah.
You know, that was really cool. And I suppose around that time that he died, and you kind of prepared yourself for it because you had the time. You had a bit of time, even though it was, sometimes not quality time, but you still have that time.
Yeah, you knew they couldn't do anything. You knew there was no coming back, and you knew that at some point there was going to be an end.
That's exactly right. So the end came, and we did, like, I guess as a family, we're close, and we dealt with it, how I would say, like, pretty well. We got around each other, and just did as much as we could over the following year, 18 months, 2 years, whatever it was. Celebrated the milestones that you get when you lose someone close. The kids' first birthdays, Christmas, Easter, all that kind of stuff.
Those bittersweet moments that you wish you was there for, but you try and hold on to the good memories and all that.
Yeah. So then you get to a couple of years down the track, and I guess all this stuff building up over a period, and I start to have sleep issues, and it was down at a place in Port Elliot where we were on holidays over the Christmas holidays, and I got down there, and I don't even know why it was at that time. I was on holidays. Technically, I should have been relaxing and feeling good and having time with the kids and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I just got to the point where I couldn't fall asleep at night.
What was going through your head? Sort of like
everyone asks that. That's the first point the first point everyone asks. What were you thinking about? What was going through your head? I'm like, well, I actually got no idea. There's
just a physical inability to sleep.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going through your head, but you can't pinpoint what is actually going through your head. So there's your brain's just firing signals off the whole time, and you just can't find a way to shut it off. And
so we're talking. So you get to bedtime, you try, wind down, read a book, have a shower, whatever it might be, and then at what point do you actually get any sleep, or you just going right the way through?
I went through. That first time actually, I went for 3 nights and didn't get any sleep.
Three full nights without any sleep at all.
And then I went to I just said to Sky, I said, I'll just go to the doctor and go get some pills.
Yeah.
So you go down there and they give them to you straight out because they're like, oh no, you'll be all right. You're just a bit of a fluctuation in your pattern, and take these for 5 nights, 7 nights. Just don't take them any longer. Take them 7 nights. You'll be right.
Mm-hmm.
So do that. Yeah, no dramas. Yep. All right, cool. Off I go.
Hang on 2 seconds. In that 3-day period.
Yeah, mate.
Because I know, I don't tend to struggle with sleep. I did early days when I lost my eyesight because there was a lot of vertigo and things like that. And I've got these lights that flash that, it's hard to sort of switch off. Yeah. And I think a lot of people they struggle to, or can struggle with winding down at the end of a long day.
Yeah.
And it is when you lay down in your bed, when everything else is completely quiet. We finally put the phone down, turn the TV off, turn the podcast off that's in the background, turn the music off. There's not many times in life at the moment that we all live out there that is quiet. And it's probably the time where that voice inside our head is the loudest. And I know for me, especially when maybe we're leaving early for a tour the next day or something like that, that sleep is critical because you're not going to get a lot of it. They're the times that I struggle to fall asleep the most because you go, that voice in your head's going, right, you need to fall asleep. Was there a point in time in those 3 nights where you start getting the shits with yourself because you can't fall asleep? like that voice inside your head, to me, maybe from, let's say you get into bed at 10 o'clock. By 11 you go, oh yeah, there's probably just a bit on my mind. By 12 o'clock you're going, far out, why can't I just go to sleep?
Oh shit, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's half the...
It's a pressure build-up, isn't it?
Yeah.
You start overthinking it.
Yeah, you do. You do 100%.
And
it's the worst thing that you can do. 100% the worst thing that you can
And
do.
did the tablets
The
work?
more you think about sleeping,
Doctor gives you the
less you
tablets.
sleep.
They work.
Yeah, the tablets work.
They
man.
did, out like a light.
Shit, yeah,
Yeah.
dude, out like a light.
So the kid,
Oh, yeah, they did.
The family's like, all right, like let's go. No, Dad's been up like partying for 3 days.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
Like you weren't partying. You were just sort of getting
Yeah.
frustrated with yourself.
Yeah, well, addiction's the issue there, right?
And then did you go from 3 days?
addiction with the sleeping pills.
3 days
yeah,
being
yeah.
awake. Did you go? Did you just sort of nod off for 3 days?
nah, man.
No, you got the, no, you got the pills.
Nah.
He's on the pills now.
No, I know. I'm saying when you finally went to sleep, did you have to catch? Did you have 3 days worth of catch up sleep?
There's a bit more science around it. There's a couple tablets that you need to take, and one gets you to sleep, but one you need to take probably as well that controls your rhythm. That's speak to a doctor about all that kind of stuff. But the sleeping pills that get you asleep don't necessarily keep you asleep.
Yep.
So, and they were the ones that I was having. So yeah, I'd bloody put my head on the pillow and out to it, But probably 3 hours later, you wake up, and what actually happens, or how I found it, was that like I'd feel worse than what I did in the morning after probably getting no sleep, because you get a little bit of sleep, but obviously the
Not enough.
the drug is doing something, and it's making you feel pretty crappy in the head and all that kind of stuff. Whereas getting no sleep, you feel pretty shit in the morning, but you slowly get over it through the day, and whereas the sleeping pills can have that side effect of making you feel probably not
Grogginess
yourself.
and
Yeah.
hungover.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's not.
And we all know sleep's such a critical part of our health and also our mental health.
Yeah.
What did sort of the lack of sleep or the insomnia start?
Yeah, so
How did
man,
that sort of affect your mental health?
Yeah, so
And physical health.
Going through that, there was a 3-month period there, but so that started in January. I had the sleeping pills to start, and that was all good. That didn't fix me, but got a bit of shut eye over the next few nights. But it didn't obviously fix the problem, and over the next few months, I really struggled. And some night I'd go to sleep, some nights, but there was other times where I would go again 3 nights, 4 nights, up to 5 nights of no sleep.
And no rhyme or reason between the night that you did go to sleep and the night you didn't.
No, that's exactly right. So then after that few months period where I was just at my wit's end, started looking more into things of you go down a bit of a rabbit hole, and Google's a wonderful thing.
Especially when you're awake for 5 nights, right?
Yeah.
You got plenty of time to Google.
The one thing that I've never done is you're not meant to either, but like hop on my phone or tablet or anything like that. You don't do that during the night. I'm pretty good now, because I still have nights where I'm not that great of laying there, and I can lay in one spot, and Sky could go, "You slept really well last night." I said, "Man, I didn't sleep a wink."
Yeah,
She said,
right.
"You didn't move." I said, "Yeah, I know."
What were you doing? Just laying there?
Yeah, just lay there.
Close your eyes though?
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
can be laying there,
Yeah.
eyes closed,
Looking asleep.
Looking
awake,
asleep, yeah, 100%.
and you're not.
yeah. You just you've
Far
the
out.
mind's just going.
Are you close? Do you sort of in and out a little bit, or not? You just
No, because
just-
you can
it's-
tell. You can tell when you've slept. Mind you, you do have some radical thoughts, which is pretty cool. Has its moments, but
But like you say, you don't turn to technology. You don't go, "Oh, I might get up and go for a walk." You just try and lay it out.
yeah. Look, no. So that happened for a few months, right? Where I basically just tried getting through it and tried. After those few months though, where it was a little bit hit and miss, it definitely wasn't as bad as what it was going to get. I started looking at my diet. Was that something that I was eating? Was it something that was? I looked at, I guess, for all the external things of what I was basically doing.
was it all self-exploratory, or was it like you went and
Yeah.
spoke to someone outside of?
That-
Obviously, you go to a doctor, they give you medication. It's kind of like a
Yeah, no, that bit was just
trying to find the root,
just
like the
me
root
just
cause
going,
sort of stuff.
You know what, like
Yeah.
because it's out there, but you don't always want to turn to
No.
medicine. You don't always want to turn to a doctor straight away. Like,
Especially with the doctor saying, you've got this, like, this will work for 5 to 7 nights, then you got to be off it. And sure, maybe you can come back on and off, but it really is a Band-Aid solution, not that first prescription.
100% a Band-Aid solution.
It ain't going to work for the next 20 years.
No,
but in saying that, it was a new thing. It hadn't happened before.
Yeah.
If you kick back into gear after 7 days and job done, but obviously it didn't. It continued. It persisted, and then you're lying. You're lying in the bed next to your missus.
You got that manifest of like Benny's just said before, that I need sleep. I need sleep. I need to close my eyes. I need to just why can't I sleep? So that's that repetition in your brain. Your brain's bloody, from what I've read and what I've ended up finding out. Your brain is just so powerful that you don't give it credit for what it actually can do to your body, as much as you might be tired.
So it's starting to have an effect on, obviously it'd be affecting everything from your parenting to work life, energy levels, your health, mental health potentially.
Mental health, absolutely. Yeah.
And then when you started to explore and learn more about yourself, where did that sort of lead you in terms of trying to curtail it?
So man, I went to a doctor and just basically said, I've had enough. Like, I just can't keep on. Like, if this is what life's going to be like, I'm not going to keep on doing it, because this is something that I'm not going to put myself through. I knew that I speak about before about being the best dad you can, the best husband you can, and running the business and feeling like you're doing it half-assed. Yeah, that's in a good time. Yeah, 10%. Let alone in a shit time where you're probably at
Let alone after 4 nights of no sleep.
10%'s probably bloody good.
So you were no good to anyone for a while.
Oh, that's a big call. I probably.
Maybe did you feel like that?
No, I did. I did 100%. As much.
If you said if it's less than 10%, you wouldn't be feeling great about.
So
your output.
You're not feeling good about yourself. You're not feeling good about life. So then, basically, I could be completely honest with you. Like, he writes. We sit there and write up a mental health plan. Part of that was going to then a psychologist about. My sleep and then working through things and then that's probably something that then I took a bit more of an interest in, working through things and going and unpacking things, and she started and it was good, and she gave strategies to try and switch your mind off during the day, make sure you're doing different exercises to try and promote your brain to settle down, which was awesome.
What sort of things what sort of tools and strategies did?
Because
it's probably a little bit more unique in the sense that you don't hear a lot of blokes, especially, talking about a lack of sleep, but or the insomnia side of things. But I reckon a lot of people have had the experience of going, I don't have long to sleep tonight, I want to get to sleep, and trying to wind that head noise down and get into a state that you are ready for sleep. I think that in society, and I know there's a lot of research out there, and we've done a lot even looking into young kids with the blue light on the phone and the screens and things like that, that contributes to poor sleep and an ability to wind down and get ready for a state of sleep. Like, what sort of things did they give you? Because I think, yes, it may help you get to sleep, but there are probably some strategies that potentially would help a lot of us get to sleep better and have better sleep as well.
Yeah. I think, from what I found out, basically my the meditation side of things really worked for me.
Had you done it before?
I hadn't done it before.
Okay, so you discovered that. Yeah.
The thing is,
was there a part of you that was resisting the woo-woo of meditating?
100%, man. Yeah. Hey, meditating? Why would you do that?
And you're thinking like cross legs,
And
yoga sort of setup?
That's exactly right, man. You sit there, and I've said to many people, I said, meditating, man, do it. It's not what you think. You can be stretching and exercise, you can, and that's a form of meditation, right? But it's being present. And for someone who's not sleeping, being present is one of the hardest things to do, because your mind's constantly on the go.
And you're knackered.
So the psychologist came up with a couple of things, and it was all based around breathing or noticing where you are and your state of being, essentially, how your body's feeling. So, yeah, there's the 3, 2, 1 of three things you can see, 3 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel, and then working down into 2.
Just
but
bringing you back.
And we've done this together.
Yeah,
Like,
we have, man. We've done in the pool, haven't we? In
Yeah,
a bit of cool,
in the ice cold
water.
pool in the middle of winter. One of the things that you used to do is get back from your morning run and jump in the pool and then do this meditation technique. And I'm sitting listening to this, and you're like, mate, you don't have to do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. And I pride myself on trying to be open-minded, and I'm definitely the bloke that goes, meditation, that is not for me. That's not up my alley. But I'll give it a crack. If you reckon it's good, it's good. Yeah. Let's give it a go. I mean, and I loved the sort of concept as well. Obviously, not everyone's going to go and give this a crack in the pool. But you were very strong on, you can't pick the obvious things. Yeah. So, yes, you're in the pool, but 3 things you can feel. Don't want you to feel the water.
That's it.
Like, because, yes, the water's everywhere. No shit, it's cold. Yeah. The first thing I feel is it's cold. The second thing I feel is it's cold. Like, you got to think hard about it.
That's it. Yeah, you got to challenge yourself, and when we did that, so I guess you learn through the journey. Like, it's not just going to bed at night and going, let's do a meditation. It's throughout the day, having those moments.
Anywhere, anytime.
Anywhere, anytime. Having the ability to just be present. Start some breathing exercises or something like that, and just and like we did that. Benny, that was 5 o'clock in the morning. Go for a run, jump in the ice cold pool, and do a meditation.
Mate, we'll be doing that tomorrow. We're gonna fly back to Melbourne tomorrow, but I'm.
You're in, are you?
Mate,
we're in.
We're going running.
It's
and then
been
we're
a while
going
since I've done one, so yeah, we probably should do it.
Yeah.
Bring back the old days.
Mate, let's do it.
Yeah. No, so
and so through meditation and also just reading and educating yourself on the topic of something that you've.
Yeah, so yeah, that's it, man. Like, I found an interest in it, and I thought, you know what, like, I want to know as much as I can.
It's gotten a lot better.
Does other stuff contribute? Like, I'll throw a heap of things out there and then just pick things that have impacted, influenced, haven't. Like, there's so many things that people talk about as healthy and unhealthy habits, and things that you should incorporate into, like, your regular routines and things like that, like exercise, reading a book, like time away from technology, getting outside, diet, nutrition, alcohol. Like, are there things that you've noticed and patterns that you've picked up now that you have taken interest, that when you are exercising regularly, you sleep better, or vice versa, or whatever?
Yeah, I think that's in general, man. You do something regularly, and particularly you do an exercise, or might you play golf or something like that,
Never
and you do it for
mate.
mental health, which I don't know why you do it. You're mad. Those things that you do regularly and you choose to actively do, it's something that you're choosing to do, is really important. It doesn't matter what it is. I chose run in the morning, every morning. I had to do that, and I had to do a meditation in the pool. That was my thing that I just applied myself to. So it's just, I think, choosing something that you want to go and get something out of, and switch your mind over so that you are focusing on that and putting all of yourself into it.
And do you notice that if you don't do that, it impacts your sleep?
Yeah, like the last couple of weeks have been challenging with my sleep.
Yep.
And it is because, I know I've been flat out at work. There's been a few things that have been happening at work as well. Hate to say it, but the kids have been a little bit difficult. Like, there's just been these triggers that then all of a sudden, busy at work, don't go for a run in the morning. Next minute that leads to, or let's say, I'm going to say from January this year, it's been a pretty heavy start to the year. But, I'm back to 2 runs a week, and they're on a weekend because I can't be stuffed and can't do it during the week. I'm going to work at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, you can notice it that, and even the meditation side of things, you know, like if I should actively do it every day, but because you get better, then you let things slide and you go, no, I'm cool, and then all of a sudden it's too late and you're down in the pit and you got to start all over again.
Yeah, and it's a long claw back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good thing now is that I think I know my mind a whole lot better, and I've got to know those moments that are when I'm struggling, and identifying it and going, okay, I really need to do something.
Yeah.
Quite often it's too late in, and I'll have then a couple, 2-3 nights of pretty crappy sleep, couple in there that I get no sleep. But I'm better at going, doesn't matter. I know I've been here before. I'll know I'll get through it. I'll know that, you know, if I do these things, if I tick these things off and I start doing these things, that things will turn for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's that probably coping mechanism of...
As someone that's grown up with a father figure that's, you know, strong, brawn, you described your version of tough growing up, of being, you know, strong physically and those sorts of things. And the industry that you're in, you know, you're in the building game, right? You're around blokes a lot, tough blokes out there pounding the pavement and all that sort of stuff like that. Not pounding the pavement, but, you know, whatever you guys do out there.
Whatever the term is.
I'm a city slicker. I couldn't even...
What did
hammer a nail in, mate. Like honestly, but
what did you say the other day? Nail in a hammer.
Nail in a hammer, yeah, something like that. Something like that. That's how well I go about it. No, in all honesty, but I think that you're the exception to the rule in some respects, Matty, because you know, when it comes to things like seeking help and guidance and being open-minded and speaking to a psychologist, you know, about how to manage a situation, and then exploring things like meditation. They might not be the go-tos for other people out there, maybe in your game or just blokes in general that might be thinking, nah, stuff that. Like Benny mentioned before, the woo-woo around meditation. There might be that around there, you know, in terms of the attitudes towards those sorts of things that, you know, might help people in their lives, but they may turn to other things like alcohol or something like that to manage a problem like your own. How important is it to be open-minded with things like that in your life when you are dealing with a lot of stress?
Oh, mate, yeah. The way I look at it is that you got to be open-minded and everything. Like that's probably how I tackle life and tackle business issues, employee issues, and all that kind of stuff. Sky would probably say that is not the case. But
yeah, we'll get her on next episode.
Fact check.
Jeepers. I think it's really important to... And I think I try my hardest to see all sides, and know that like if we've got a dispute or something like that, you know, this person's feeling that way for a reason. He honestly feels that something he's been aggrieved. This other person here, he feels that too, you know, and it's okay to feel like that, you know. But being able to see both sides of the story, knowing that everybody's different and all that kind of stuff, but you got to reach a amicable point and know that you got to give a little bit, and you got to, you know, there's always that, you know, you always got to try and put yourself in someone else's shoes to know how they're feeling, even though you're not in their shoes. Another one that, you know, I've spoken a lot. Not I've spoken a lot because I haven't spoken much about this to anyone. So that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you've thought about it a lot.
I've had conversations, you know, and I've probably shared bits and pieces of my story. But like that vulnerability around being someone, I guess, growing up, feeling like you have to have a front on, you have to be tough and all that kind of stuff, and knowing that person wasn't me because I'm not that person.
Yeah.
You know,
it's great.
I think that's one of the biggest things is having, or, you know, I got to the point in my life where I was sick of having that front up of being someone that probably people thought that I was someone, but they didn't know me and they didn't know that who I actually was.
Yep.
Is there moments that you can think of, like that you go, why did I try and act tough in that moment?
Yeah, I probably never acted tough. Like that's probably one of the things that I've never done because I'm soft as butter. And I'm
Or
a
did you
lover,
just not
a
show the
fighter.
true self? Like
I think that's
there's a
more to the
difference
point,
between
man.
acting tough and
Yep.
Not showing the true you or being as open and as vulnerable
That's exactly
as you're
right.
feeling on the inside.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that you're hitting the nail on the head right there.
Well, we spoke
You nailed
earlier
the hammer.
about
Yeah, you nailed the hammer.
You nail the hammer. That's an easy way to do things, right?
Yeah.
So
I'll say, like, I did explore other things within that sleep. So going through it, I suffered badly for probably 18 months. And through that period, I did a lot of things. And I think one of the biggest things for me was I kind of have said it in these conversations is that the build-up of pressures, the build-up of stresses and keeping them, we talk about bottling things up, keeping them inside and all that kind of stuff. That's what I've done. I've done that my whole life. And the tipping point, although it didn't happen straight after Dad's death, was the fact that I'd lost Dad. And there were things that, probably happened around that when he died that didn't sit right.
they
with me.
forced you to face up to the things you've been bottling up. Yep.
Yeah, but it didn't like I felt, that just, I felt bad about it. Like I didn't have a good feeling. So, I went to a hypnosis as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a weird ass feeling.
You're the epitome of open.
I know, man. I know. Like, I don't even know.
Did they do the full
Did you get to a health
Swing the-
retreat, mate?
Nah, man, I didn't get to
Didn't
a
get a
health
health
retreat.
retreat?
They
I
swung the
looked at
thing in
it.
front of your eyes?
No.
They hypnotise you?
Nah, he didn't do that.
That's not against that's it's not all what people think it is it?
So that's what I mean.
It's
If you
not.
said, I've gone to hypnosis,
Yeah.
everyone's going to automatically think that someone's there with the thing swinging in front of your eyes, like going, woo, woo.
Yeah, it's not that. It was, they sit there and talk to you, right? And they have a really good conversation with you.
They place you into different states of consciousness.
And that's it. And then they try and do that, whether or not you're going to get into
But I think the
that.
reference point is those TV shows where they got people up on stage clucking like chickens
doing
and
chickens
that
and
sort of
shit.
stuff.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like-
that's
but it
not
can
what
be a
it's
really
like.
valuable
Have you done it as well, Rob?
source. No, well, I've clocked like a chicken, but nothing to do with hypnosis before.
On the regular.
But
No, yeah. So, and I'll be like, this is taking it. I don't even know if I should share this. So something that happened with Dad when he died, right, is that my mum, obviously mum lived with him. That's pretty, that's a light bulb moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
We had, taking it back there, we had 3 days where basically I was working in a job actually not far from where Mum and Dad lived in Waikerie. We were building a place. And Mum gave me the call one morning and said, look, I don't think Dad's quite right. Like, I think he's just, there's something not right. I said, that's cool, I'll come in. At that point, what did he do? I come in there and he was real jumpy and just didn't quite know what was going on.
And is this after that he'd been told that cancer's back
Yes,
in the stomach?
This is 3 days before he was going to pass.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, it was probably 3. Yeah, it was exactly 3 days. Anyway, he had a kidney appointment in Adelaide because they knew that he had something wrong with his kidney, because obviously the cancer and everything else
Spread.
that's going on. So I said, Mum, that's all right. And she was probably a little bit worked up about the whole situation. I said, that's cool. I don't have to go back. I'll drive you down. We'll go down to Adelaide. I sat there in, and this is something that I'll never forget. The kidney specialist room there, and the guy said, well, I'm going to tell you straight, like, it's not looking good. We could put a stint in and get you through, but what I'm going to tell you is, if you die this way, it's going to be the best death that you will have.
well, some honesty.
Some honesty.
Yeah.
He said, but you've got 72 hours. That's it. So mum, dad, me sitting there because I'm the passenger, or I drove dad down there. We walk out of that. I ring Sky straight away. I say, look, just pack the kids' stuff up. We're going to go back to Waikerie. Dad hasn't got long left. Did the same for Craig, my brother. So then I drove back to the Barossa, jumped in the car with Sky, and we took the kids up, went up to Waikerie. In the meantime, I think Craig had probably taken over driving. He'd gone back to Waikerie. And mum and him had a really good, they had a moment each with dad that was their kind of last moment, having a good chat and all that kind of stuff. And while that was happening, got the 3 kids organised, got up to Waikerie. Dad went into hospital. And it probably wasn't till just before, that he obviously declines, gets to the point where, it's the last opportunity, like he's in and out of consciousness. I get a little bit of time with dad. But that time for me was, there was, he was trying to say stuff, but it wasn't coming out how he wanted it. It wasn't, he was trying to tell me stuff, but I was trying to help him say it. And so I guess, everything happened and he passed away. And those, that conversation subconsciously had played in my mind. And the hypnosis talks about, is a lot to do with the subconscious mind. Well, it is all about the subconscious mind. It's not about your conscious mind. And basically I got into that point of knowing that probably a lot of what I've been dealing with is that conversation that I didn't get to have, but I felt like I was putting words into Dad's mouth and not giving him an opportunity to talk and tell me exactly what he was trying to say, but he couldn't say it because he was, in and out of consciousness. It was a really... So I had this one, I actually had a few hypnosis, what are they called? Appointments.
Sessions.
Yeah. And there was one of the, I think it might have been the last one, I can't quite remember. Because they're not bloody cheap. Even that, I've got a ceiling. I was kind of sitting there going, man, you'd charge me $1,000 for a couple of sessions here. I can't afford to keep going.
Yeah. So even if it is helping, and that's that's a whole another can of worms. With mental health support services, that there shouldn't be that barrier, and sometimes I think it's not necessarily just the medical model and pathway that works for everyone. So then, like you say, you go alternative.
Yeah.
You go down this hypnosis path, but it costs you an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
But it's working.
Yeah.
So then you're in this catch-22 of going, but I want to keep doing it. But and I'm sure plenty of people out there have had similar experiences, potentially with different services and whatnot. But it makes it hard.
So then, sitting there, like I said, I think it was the last session, and I got to the point where he was we're just tapping into my subconscious mind, let's call it that. And basically what I had was, it was like I saw Dad. He was like right in front of me, and he had the conversation that he meant to have with me on that day that he passed away.
How many years later is this? Or how long later, sorry? I shouldn't say years.
Probably 3.
3 years.
3.5, I'd say. So, it was well into me dealing with my sleep and all that kind of stuff. And that was probably me going down the path of, I really want to help myself and I want to fix myself. I can't keep, because although, I was probably sleeping a little bit more, still having those few days of not, but having sleep in between and all that kind of stuff. I just hadn't felt comfortable, hadn't felt that I'd really got to any form of root of the problem.
How did that conversation go?
With Dad.
Yeah, the 3.5 years later.
With Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just all about I love you and just that you're good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are, mate. Bloody oath, yeah.
Yeah. No, there was probably
That's
more
fucking
to it.
That's fucking amazing that conversation can take place in the subconscious 3.5 years later.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Puts you at enormous ease, I'd imagine, too, Matty.
Yeah. I remember walking out of that going,
Like the frustration of
Far
not
out,
being
man.
able to communicate with him so well right at the end there.
And the guilt of trying to finish his sentences. And
yeah,
all
Yeah.
that.
all that. That's
that's it. Like it was,
that's amazing.
it was some, yeah, it was really a big load of weight off my shoulders because of what I'd carried.
Yeah.
And yeah, so walking out of that, it was definitely a different feel. And you know, I was probably at that point, and I knew that you know that was a big part. But then also unpacking all the other stuff that had happened throughout life and all that kind of thing. Like, you know, I think you carry a lot, no matter what you do, you carry a lot of everything that happens in life builds up and builds up. And
Take it
builds
with
up.
you.
Whether or not, you know, you lose one eye. Benny, you lose your eyesight. Mike, you lose your legs.
Oh, everyone's got their shit. Yeah.
Everyone's got their shit. And, you know, you just can't. You might go through life and you might be fine. You know, you might go through and never have any issues. But, you know, I did. And I'm glad that I did, essentially. You know, as much as I hate laying awake at night and seeing it still happens and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I'm more aware of the anxiety and all that kind of stuff that I do have and I do carry and all that kind of stuff. I'm not as probably easygoing as what I used to be. But I wouldn't change it because you learn. I learned so much.
Hats off you.
myself.
One of the fundamental needs that we all have is to grow and through an experience and everything you've unpacked today, right from the bung eye, as we said, the heart, the stresses of owning your own business through to the loss of your dad. You know, like there's so much of that we need to process, and the easy thing is to sort of, you know, go down the route of not dealing with it the best way, but being open-minded. All of a sudden you end up, I mean, like if you think about it, you know, as a 25-year-old, if you had have suggested hypnosis to you then, would you have been open to it?
Oh,
Be
shit,
like,
no.
No way. What are you talking about, mate?
Hell no, man.
No,
No,
absolutely.
What are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
So thinking about, you're a beautiful man, Matty. Thank you for sharing that. That was a really amazing moment, and definitely got choked
And
up
hard,
there,
yeah.
and definitely hats off for you to be brave enough to share it. But I'd like to ask, to wrap up, what's an amazing conversation? We always ask a question, you know, growing up, what did tough mean to you? What does it mean to you through your journey? But I'd like to maybe frame it in a different way, because I'm curious, because you're such a great community man, you know, you're involved in sport, you're such a, you know, dedicated father, family man, that sort of stuff. What message do you want to give to your children about what constitutes being tough through everything that you've been through?
Yeah, it's a really hard question to answer. You know, I don't know if I necessarily like the word tough.
I was going to say, do you even want your kids to be tough?
Nah, like
It's a good answer too.
I'd love for them to be able to feel like they can be themselves. You know, to go through life and understand that they're going to have moments where shit ain't going to go right for them. But we're here for you. Pick the right people around you, and don't be afraid to not stand to, don't go with the crowd.
Yeah.
Have the ability and have the balls essentially to stand up and
Be yourself.
Be yourself, man, because you're good enough. You are good enough, and you'll find your niche. If you don't feel like you got your mates now, and you don't feel perfectly comfortable with them, that's okay, man. You'll get through it.
Yeah.
You'll find people. In the meantime, we're here. We're here to talk to you. We're here to be with you, and we love you. And you belong in this house.
I love that.
So
Bucking
being
the
tough
trend
is, it's not something that
Well, knowing you,
Absolutely.
Matty, and the beautiful family you've grown and created, I think that's definitely filtering through to your kids too. So, self-aware comes to mind, well-rounded, all that sort of stuff. So, it's been an absolute ripping conversation, and I don't know. I for one reckon, being as vulnerable as you've been and sharing that, I think that's going to hit people right in the heart and feels and everything else.
All the places.
Absolutely,
100%, mate. And I think just to finish off, there's probably a couple of things that I'd love to reflect on that I've learnt and taken away that I think everyone can learn from. One is just the open-mindedness that you mentioned. I think that's something that especially blokes, we don't do enough.
Yeah.
And you've given some
definitely.
great examples of when you've done that really well, but not only done it, but I think the benefits of it, from the meditation to the hypnosis. And that's not us sitting here going, hey, if you're struggling, go and try hypnosis and go and try meditation because it'll work. But be open to try whatever might work for you. It might be a psychologist. It might be just talking to your butcher because you've never talked to the butcher before about what you're going through. And all of a sudden that butcher has been through something similar. So it's just being open-minded to continue to try new things if what you're doing isn't working. So I think that for me is really cool. I think the other thing that I just wanted to reflect on as well, like we said, we met you, mate, in sort of the end of 2022 when we started working together, planning the Barossa Mates on a Mission program that we delivered on behalf of Ski for Life. Yep. And we had a few online meetings, and since then we've just grown closer and closer and closer, and probably it's been one of those friendships that just clicked from the beginning. And like I will openly say, you are by far one of my best mates in the world. But my wife thinks we are really bloody cute. And it's because you've brought something to my life that I'd never heard, never done before with any of my mates.
Where's this going?
Right? And like you started this, but I've adopted this. And I
love
think
you.
it's,
I love you.
Love you. At the end of a phone call,
he does.
Matty will roll out, I love you.
He says I love you every time, and now I find myself saying I love you too. Yeah,
How good is it?
Catchy.
It's not even like, yes, it's catchy, but like the first time Amy goes, "Did you just say I love you?" I was like, "Hey, yeah, I did," because Matty said to me,
thought he was talking to another girl or
and I
something.
do love the bloke, and why shouldn't we just be open enough to say it? Because we always talk, and there's been this thing going around on social media lately that, and there's that whole cliche of don't wait to someone's funeral to show them that you love them, or don't wait to someone's birthday or their wedding. Like, just tell them. And blokes are shit at it. We're shit at talking about emotions, and even that tiny thing alone. And now we're not saying every bloke listening ring up and tell every mate in your contacts that you love them, but you can show them, right? You don't have to say the word. You can show them. You can express it. You can ask those deeper questions. And I think, mate, you've definitely shown that to me. You've helped me be open to meditating in the pool. Even after a conversation like this, I'd probably go, shit, no, I'm never going to a hypnosis session. But you know what, maybe I might. Who knows what will happen in the future one day. Maybe it could be a good thing. And I've got to remind myself to be open. And I want to finish this episode by saying, mate, thank you so much for coming on. Love you.
Thanks, Matty. Love you, mate.
Too, mate. Keep turning those stones.
Thanks for tuning in. Everything you've heard in today's episode will be in the show notes below, where you click to play this episode. While you're there, why not chuck us a subscribe or follow? Catch you next time.